Dominik Mysterio refuses to name Rhea Ripley, calls her Voldemort. Dominik Mysterio and Rhea Ripley once shared an incredible and romantic on-screen relationship in WWE, a pairing that quickly became one of the most popular and controversial storylines in recent years. Their chemistry was undeniable, with Rhea playing the dominant, powerful force and Dominic taking on the sly, cunning role. Together, they became a top-heel duo, constantly finding ways to outsmart opponents and capture the audience's attention. Fans loved watching them work side by side, both in the ring and during backstage segments, and their bond became a huge part of the Judgment Day's success. However, things have taken a dramatic turn since those days. What was once a close partnership has now turned into open hostility, at least in the storyline. The two have not been seen together on WWE television for quite some time, and it appears that their relationship has completely broken down. In fact, they've reached a point where they don't even want to mention each other's names. Dominic recently referred to Rhea Ripley as Voldemort, the famous villain from the Harry Potter series, who is often called "He Who Must Not Be Named." This jab not only made fans laugh, but also showed just how sour things have become between them. Their split traces back to a betrayal storyline over a year ago, when Dominic and the rest of the Judgment Day turned their backs on Rhea at SummerSlam. The shocking move ended their partnership, and since then, they've been on separate paths. Dominic has continued his rise as one of WWE's top heels and is now the reigning Intercontinental Champion, while Rhea has focused on reclaiming her dominance in the women's division. Despite the tension, both have acknowledged that their time together was special. Rhea has admitted in interviews that she was surprised by how well their pairing worked, and Dominic has credited his time with the Judgment Day, including Rhea, for helping him gain confidence. Still, the animosity in their current storyline keeps fans wondering, will they ever reunite, or are they destined to remain enemies? The drama between Dominik Mysterio and Rhea Ripley has all the elements of a WWE rivalry fans can't stop talking about: past romance, betrayal, and the possibility of a future clash that could be even bigger than their original partnership. Dominik Mysterio has solidified himself as one of the top stars in WWE, especially since aligning with the Judgment Day a couple of years ago. His transformation from a rookie often criticized for his lack of confidence into one of the most talked-about performers in the company has been remarkable. His growth has been evident both in the ring and on the microphone, with his character work as Dirty Dom drawing massive reactions from fans. In a recent interview with Billboard, Dominic reflected on his journey, gave credit to his faction members, and even threw a playful yet cutting jab at Rhea Ripley, calling her Voldemort, the infamous Dark Wizard from the Harry Potter series. Dominic didn't shy away from praising the group that has helped him evolve. The reigning Intercontinental Champion acknowledged how the Judgment Day became a turning point in his career, providing him with the mentorship and camaraderie he needed to rise to the next level. He credited Finn Balor, J.D. McDonough, and Damian Priest for giving him guidance and helping him build confidence in himself. According to him, being surrounded by seasoned stars pushed him to step up, refine his in-ring style, and embrace his heel persona to its fullest potential. His reference to Rhea Ripley as Voldemort was not just a humorous insult, but also a reflection of their ongoing storyline tension. Ripley, once his close on-screen ally and partner in crime, has been absent from his side for over a year following a storyline betrayal that saw her leave the Judgment Day. Their split was a dramatic moment in WWE programming, occurring a year ago at SummerSlam when Mysterio and his fellow faction members turned on her. Since then, the two have not reconnected on screen, and by all appearances, there is no reconciliation on the horizon. Dominic described how his overall mindset has changed since joining the faction. He explained that earlier in his career, he lacked the confidence to fully take charge of his matches and persona. But with constant support from his teammates, he learned to embrace his identity and push boundaries with his performances. He noted that being told, "This is where you're at. This is where you're going to be" by Balor, McDonough, and Priest gave him the affirmation he needed to evolve. Even with his current feud against Ripley, he still acknowledged her as a key figure in his earlier growth, albeit without saying her name directly. On the other side of this storyline history, Rhea Ripley has also spoken about her time alongside Dominik Mysterio, the Eradicator, who was one of WWE's most dominant champions during her women's world title reign, admitted in an interview with Alan Owens Wrestling that she was surprised by how well their on-screen pairing clicked. Ripley's character is known for her power, aggression, and intimidation, while Dominic's persona thrived on cunning tactics and sneaky wins. The combination of her brute strength and his sly opportunism created a dynamic that captivated WWE audiences. Ripley explained that it was unexpected but effective, as their contrasting styles created memorable television. Their alliance made both of them standout heels in WWE. Ripley played the role of the muscle who could intimidate anyone, while Dominic embraced being the sly, manipulative partner who could exploit any opening. Together, they became one of the most talked-about duos on WWE programming, drawing both boos and cheers depending on the crowd. Fans enjoyed the chemistry between them, with many noting how seamlessly their characters meshed despite being so different on the surface. But that chapter seems to have closed for now. With Ripley currently absent from the on-screen storyline involving Dominic, the question remains whether WWE will revisit their partnership in the future. Given their history and undeniable chemistry, it's easy to imagine them crossing paths again, either as allies or as rivals. The tension between them is still palpable in interviews and subtle references, like Dominic's Voldemort remark, which keeps fans speculating about what might come next. Dominic's current focus remains on his role within the Judgment Day and his position as Intercontinental Champion. The group continues to be one of WWE's most dominant factions, and his heel work has become a major talking point in wrestling circles. While he has moved on from his on-screen alliance with Ripley, their shared history lingers in the background, and it's possible that WWE could leverage it for a future storyline. Whether it's through a surprise reunion or an intense rivalry, the potential is there for another chapter in their complex relationship. Rhea Ripley, meanwhile, has her own challenges ahead. Having been away from Dominic's side and from the Women's World Championship scene since losing her title, she remains a top name in WWE's women's division. She has expressed admiration for how her pairing with Dominic developed, but her focus is now on reasserting her dominance when she returns to the ring. Her status as one of the most physically imposing and popular wrestlers on the roster means that any interaction with Mysterio in the future would instantly become a major storyline. The looming question is whether Liv Morgan's return from her shoulder injury will play a role in connecting these storylines. Morgan, another top competitor in WWE's women's division, has her own history with both Ripley and the Judgment Day. If WWE decides to intertwine these rivalries, fans could see some interesting matchups and unexpected alliances. Ripley's rivalry with Morgan and her past with Dominic could easily lead to a multi-layered feud that involves multiple members of the faction.